Well, welcome everybody. This is the Success Over Struggle speaker panel. My name is Tisha. I'm the host of the Social Connect, and this is my favorite part. My favorite part is being up here, interviewing some movers and shakers in the Valley, and not asking them, hey, tell me all about your success, but tell me about your struggle and what you went through to get to where you're at right now. So I have the pleasure of introducing you to our panel, but I want to call out a couple of people. Vanessa Hintala is right here. Vanessa, come on up. Vanessa is the ambassador of fun here at Dave & Buster's, and had the pleasure of just working with her on this event as one of our sponsors, as our sponsor, and the official venue. I will say that everybody is like loving the food. Yes! I've had a lot of people who are like, so much better than the sliders.
I made it myself. No, I
Yes. So funny story, I shared this in the first talk, but I came with all of my gear because at the last event I had to bring like the paper plates and all this stuff, and she's like, we've got you, we've totally got you. Nat and I were laughing, and she's like, you classed this up, you did good. So Vanessa, one of the things that works in collaboration is I was looking for a space that had more room, ample parking, and I wanted to add a little bit of social to the mix instead of just come, have fun, have a beer, and then leave. And I felt like Dave & Buster's was the perfect place to be able to encourage you to hang out, bring your families, and have quality time together. So Vanessa's going to share a little bit about what's going on at Dave & Buster's if you haven't been here, it's been a while, but what you can do after you leave this place.
Absolutely.
Oh, I need to turn it on. Thank you. I'm triple mic'd when I have that. Oh, yeah.
Hello?
There it is.
Oh, this is good. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my home. As Tisha said, I am the ambassador of fun here at Dave & Buster's. Please let me know how I can get your fun started. We obviously wanted to partner with Tisha on this event, one, because she's so truly passionate about this. That makes you passionate about this. You want to learn more, right? She gets you excited. Love it. I love it very much. So yes, your energy is contagious, so thank you for that. But anyways, welcome to our home. We just want to have you come, eat, play, have fun, enjoy time with your families. On Tuesdays, we actually do offer country swing upstairs, so anybody who's into country swing, you can stay. It starts at 8. 7 o'clock, we actually have trivia over in the sports lounge, so there's a couple other things to do if you're not into video games. But if you're into video games, come see me, I'll get you a card, and have lots of fun. So please enjoy your time here, and I'm looking forward to connecting with all of you. Thank you.
So I want to share real quick that Vanessa went to her with another project we were working on, and some of you know Ryan. Where's Ryan? Ryan Parker? So Ryan Glenmeyer, who's not here, we teamed up and we decided to do some hilarious networking parody videos. So if you caught my talk earlier, I talked about how networking, you kind of meet some crazies. And we wanted to shed light on that and actually bring these characters to life. So we were actually here Friday and got to bring in our network to be able to play some of those parts. So watch for those videos. Okay, so let's get this going. So Success Over Struggle, like I said, is really about inspiring people to tell their story. So I love being able to bring my connections to the room so that you can connect with them too. So we're not here talking about what's the best thing and I really, really love to pull the stories out of you. I want you to be raw, real. I think those are the best conversations, and it lets you see a side of people that sometimes, like, we go to these events, and I mean, Jenny is like Phoenix Business Journal Woman of the Year back in 2016. How many of you are like, I can't talk to her, I'm like in the presence of God. And she's like, I'm just a real person. Why don't you just, like that. Yeah. Ashley's like, I know what to say. So this is a chance to connect with real people, hear their stories, get inspired. I like to work with the startup community, and I find that a lot of startups are kind of on the brink of, I give up. And this is the way that I choose to say, hey, why don't you get around people that are in it, they're hustling, they're grinding, they haven't given up, they've gone through the trenches, and they're doing this thing. And they can tell you from firsthand experience that it's a tough road, but they're in it. for the long haul, I'm hoping, Mike.
Already 10 years in, so I'm committed.
Yeah, you're tenured. All right, so I'm going to introduce you to the wonderful Mike Jones. How many of you okay, I just have to say it, because when I told Johnny in the back, Johnny is our videographer, I'm like, Mike Jones is on the panel. He's like, Mike Jones! And he started singing the song, and I'm like, okay. Sing the song, Mike.
No thanks. I'm sick. You guys don't want to hear that.
Otherwise you would know.
Otherwise you would.
In another place at another time.
All right, Mike and I kind of met in a very unconventional way too. Last year I was speaking at Startup Week and I found myself on TV and they wanted someone to come on with me with Startup Week and they sent Mike. So that's how we connected and a relationship was formed, I'd like to say. So we've been in a lot of the same circles and he encouraged me to sign up again for Startup Week, so I'll be speaking there next Monday, Mesa Arts Center, and he's running the show. Yeah?
With an amazing team.
Yeah, with an
It's a
amazing
full
team.
effort to put that on.
Yes. So I'm going to introduce you real quick, and then we're going to get into your questions. So I have a question prepared for every single one of them, and then we'll invite the audience to ask questions too. But the panel lasts about a half an hour or so. But Mike Jones, he passionately pursues these beliefs. He believes that remarkable brands require authenticity and a die-hard commitment to values and purpose. He passionately pursues these beliefs as CEO of his brand agency, Resound. He also explores these topics as co-host of the podcast, AZ Brandcast. In recognition of the work he's done, this Arizona native has been named one of the state's top entrepreneurs under the age of 35. Are you still 35?
Barely. Barely under 35.
And he is also the co-chair of Phoenix Startup Week, Arizona's largest event for entrepreneurs. He lives in the very sunny city of Mesa. How many of you are from Mesa? Yes? You guys could be neighbors. We found that out sometimes too. And he has a wife and 2 kids.
I need to update that. I got 3. Essentially an old one, apparently.
I was going to say, I'm like, I thought you had 3.
3
So
wives.
you're missing one.
It's Mesa.
3 wives?
Ooh.
All right.
Don't make me laugh. I'm going to start coughing really bad. 3 children.
3 children. 3 children. I will update it for you. 3 children. Okay, so I've done videos with every single one of them and they make me laugh and they're just really off-the-cuff words of wisdom videos. And Mike and I were he was just dropping some language. But in the video, you asked your wife, why can't being an entrepreneur be easy? And I was like, what? It's not easy. And I want you to share a story in your business where times weren't exactly the easiest and you had to get through that. So what were some of the steps that you took? Could you share an experience with the crowd?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that comment actually came from a moment in our business where I had 2 employees leave who'd been with me a long time, within about a month of each other. And working in a small business, owning a small business, losing employees hurts, right? Whether they've been there for 6 months or 3 years or a lifetime. And to lose 2 in basically 4 weeks, I was like, this sucks. This really sucks. And I remember turning to my wife and saying, why can't this just be easy? Why can't it be comfortable? Why can't things just be normal for 6 months in the business and not have something out of left field hit me? And she turned to me and said, why would it be easy? You own a business. And I think that was the first, I don't know, it wasn't the first time. She said that to me many times because I keep coming back with the same complaint. But I realized, I think that's the first step in finding a way through those points of difficulty in business, is making sure that you have someone who really believes in you and believes in what you're doing and says, I'm here to help support you and tell you truth, right? Tell me that, no, it's not supposed to be easy, so why are you expecting it to be easy? I think that's really the first step. The second is, have a great support around the business. We've done very well over 10 years in terms of attracting talent, only because we've been really good at giving back and making sure we're in front of people. I think any service-based business, you have to do that. because your business really is built on the people and the talent you're able to attract. And so, I mean, even like our first employee, I think we got through an Instagram post. We whiteboarded it. My partners and I put together a little post on a whiteboard, threw it out on Instagram, and within 24 hours, I got a resume back. And that was our first intern that we ever hired.
Nice.
And I think that's just a testament to like you've got to be out there and you got to be committing to the community and making sure that you're in front of people and showing them what you're trying to deliver.
Mm-hmm. Good. Final answer?
That's my final answer. Wait, can I phone home?
Can you? Do you need a lifeline? Do you need someone to help you with that?
Maybe.
All right, I want to pass that over to Jenny. Jenny. So Jenny is an entrepreneur and founder of Co+HOOTS, ranked number 4 co-working space in the nation by Inc.com. That is nothing to just, laugh about. That's awesome. Co+HOOTS currently houses 280 plus scaling entrepreneurs and small businesses and has been an integral role in creating hundreds of jobs locally. She has led Co+HOOTS from its inception in 2010 to be the #1 most innovative co-working space in the world. She speaks regularly on leadership as a millennial, the importance of nurturing innovation in the workspace, and works tirelessly to bring visibility to co-working as an economic development tool for building vibrant and equitable cities. Jenny serves as an advisor for several startups, chair of the Co+HOOTS Foundation, and mentors young entrepreneurs weekly. She was named Phoenix Business Journal's 2016 Phoenix Businessperson of the Year, the first minority, and the first woman to receive the honor. Yay, I'm gonna cry. Actually, Jenny and I met each other. We really got to know each other a little bit more at that Phoenix Business Journal Mentoring Monday, where Poon and Pelletier were kind of sitting next to each other, and I'm like, can I get a selfie? I would really want a selfie. She's like, okay. But that was where you got up and you gave your talk, too.
Yeah, that was an interesting talk. They had the camera right here, and trying not to be a nerd about it, but it worked out, yeah.
All right, so Jenny and I, we did our little video, and she was talking about how sometimes you just got to take life with the waves. Like, the waves are going to come, whether you like it or not, good and bad. So sometimes in business, we need to take a horribly bad experience. And I think a lot of us can raise our hands and say, I've had a horribly bad experience, and learn from it and turn it into something positive. So name a time in your business where you had to do exactly that. You were on the right path, it got derailed, things happened, it didn't exactly work out the way you thought it would. And so what was some of that tough love that you learned?
So this happens every year. Like that, as I was saying, and you probably know, there's a challenge every year. The biggest challenge, I guess we've had 2 big ones, but the one that I'll tell you the story about happened actually really early on in our business. So we were about, if you don't know what Co+HOOTS is, it's a co-working space. We were the first co-working space to open in Phoenix, and it was very new to me. I just had a problem that I had to solve. I was starting a business, and I needed a physical space to be around a lot of creative people. And so I built this space not knowing what co-working was, and then I went online and I Googled it, and I was like, I need a shared workspace, and I was like, I'm brilliant, I totally made this idea. And then the whole feed fills with co-working, and it exists all across the country except not in Phoenix. So anyways, we started this co-working space. I'm a product of immigrants, so we don't have a ton of money, and I was trying to figure out how do I go about doing this. I found, it was in 2008, so it was the middle of the recession, the economy totally tanked, there was a lot of open commercial real estate, and I found this owner of a building in downtown Phoenix that was willing to work with me on a lease, and we structured a deal and just kept trying to like work something that would work for me, and we structured a deal where he would essentially take all of our membership dues and just pay me 20% of the membership dues as a management fee. And I created the brand and everything like that and launched Co+HOOTS and pushed it out because all I really wanted to do was build this awesome community that would help connect like the talent that was here and honestly showcase the amount of talent that was growing in the valley, because at that time everybody was saying there was no talent and there was no jobs and downtown Phoenix was a ghost town. So we wanted to just create a hub that would, you'd be able to point to it and say, this is where you go if you wanted to start a business. So we launched this thing, and it started as me and
my one friend in a giant space, and I had an extra desk open, and so like we just kept moving. As soon as one person took that desk, I would go to IKEA and buy another desk, and then a person would come in, and then we only have one spot left, and then they would come and they would take that spot, and then I would buy another desk, and just keep moving that way. And so we grew and we grew and we grew to about, I think we grew to, well, first we grew to 8 within the first 3 months, and the owner of the building was amazed. And then after 2 months, he was like, hey, what's going on? Why aren't you quadrupling the number of people in this space? And I said, well, that's not how you build community, right? Like, we need to find the right people to be here. And by month 6, he was like, I don't see this growing as fast as I thought it was going to be. I don't want to do this anymore. So you need to get out or sign a lease. And at that point, it was just 6 or 8 of us, and I talked to our whole community of 8 people, and I said, I'm interested in this. This is what it's going to take. Are you willing to, like, we can break even pretty soon, but are you willing to do this with me? And they said yes. And so we structured a lease deal, and then within the next 3 months, we grew to 25 members. And he completely was cut out of, the owner was completely cut out of the deal. And he walked into the space one day and saw that we had like tripled our membership to a whopping 25 members. And he says, I'm gonna raise your lease, I'm gonna raise your rental rate. And we said, you can't do that. We signed a lease agreement. And then he started then promoting that he was going to open a co-working space where we were. And then served us a 30-day notice, and then promoted online, and then reached out. We had grown, this went on for several months, until like we hit a year, and he just kept kind of threatening that he was going to kick us out. And then he served us a 30-day notice, and at that point we were about 55 members. And he then sent an email to all of our members and said, stop paying Jenny. I'm gonna open a co-working space. She's gonna leave in 30 days. So you'll still have a co-working space here, but it won't be run by Jenny. And at that moment, we're in a giant space like this, and there's 50-some people in this room, and they all stood up and they said, what are we gonna do about this, Jenny? and so, fortunately, I quickly put a plan together. There's a few other details, but Tisha said I have to keep it short. And so we put a plan together, quickly moved out of that space over a weekend, and selfishly, I'm also a graphic designer by trade, made a bunch of giant vinyl lettering that said, awesomeness has left the building, and filled the entire wall of windows that were there with these tiny little letters repeated over and over again. The awesomeness had left the building, and I just rebelled over the idea and going up there trying to peel off each individual letter. That's what I learned from that. No, what I really learned is make sure your documents are in place, make sure your contract is in place. Every partnership has the potential to fall apart, and you should prepare for that before you enter that partnership. So we always write any kind of contract as if we're going to break up, and what does that look like moving forward. So that's our crazy story. Every single one of our 55 members at that time left with us to a smaller space, a darker space, less beautiful space, while we figured out where we were going to go next.
I didn't know all about that, but I love that where you're like, I'm going to get up and prove you wrong. Like, I love that. And I'm going to make it hell. As I walk away with a smile. All right, okay, Jeff. Jeff, how many of you have been to Ignite Phoenix? Yes. Okay, so Jeff Moriarty, love this man. He makes me laugh every time. He is responsible for the cake in the background because he kind of inserted that into our video. I'm like, I guess I'm bringing cake. I always bring cake, but yeah, I was like, I'll bring cake for Jeff so we can have cake.
People always get me to show up.
I should have just written it's for Jeff on the cake.
And I've just taken the cake and left, so it's probably a good idea to do that.
All right, so Jeff Moriarty's favorite place is at the crossroads where people, ideas, and technology collide. His background runs from technical program management at Intel to performing improv comedy. Quite the range there. Most recently, he was the director of social and digital programming at a Phoenix television station, where he helped launch their social and digital streaming strategy and gained them a worldwide audience. He also runs Ignite Phoenix, an award-winning speaking event that provides a stage for regular people to share their passions in front of sold-out crowds. He also runs the Phoenix No Pants Light Rail Ride and assorted other Valley shenanigans. I think you're just going to have to talk about that, because now you have everybody going, what?
You brought photos, right?
You want me to talk about taking off my pants?
Talk about taking
I
off.
can do that in great and nauseating length, so be careful what you ask for.
All right, well, I have a question, and then if you want to go into your pants deal, then you can. All right, first off, I'd never even been to Ignite Phoenix. I don't even know how I heard about it. I know, Vincent, you and I saw each other there. No, it was you. Yes, Nat Handler. I was encouraged to speak and apply. And then when I finally saw it, I was like, thank God he didn't choose me, because it's a scary ordeal. So it's scary, it's so scary. Like, here are all these people that are getting up, they're not speakers, but they're really getting up there and they're doing 5 minutes, 20 slides?
5 minutes, 20 slides that auto advance.
Yeah, so can you imagine, like, slides running and I'm like, crap, I'm not on the right slide. Like, that's what I was freaking out about. I'm like, these people are awesome, they've definitely practiced this. But it was such an incredible event. I think it sells out within a day.
It takes a couple days now. We've sold out every single event we've ever had. Now we're at the Scottsdale Center for Performing Arts, so 850-seat theater. We bring in food trucks and local bands, and it's all about celebrating great, passionate ideas in Phoenix.
It was awesome. I highly encourage everybody to go, but you've got to jump on it. Like, as soon as he posts it, you have to jump on it. Or buy tickets off someone else.
There's not a big scalping market, but they do sell out. They do sell out.
All right, well, so congrats, because that's a huge
Thank you.
honor. Ignite Phoenix 19, and then you've had other events in the middle of that.
Yes, we've had Ignite Food, Ignite Music, we have Ignite After Hours, which is a whole set of topics. And yeah, we had an Ignite High School one time. We've done some Ignite Developers that was really focused on technology. So yeah, we've had a few little offshoots in there.
Nice. Okay, so my question, being a fellow event production person, I guess I'll call myself that, has it become a piece of cake for you after all these years? Have you been like, I can sit back and just relax and it does the work for me?
Yes.
Well, of course. Thank you, Jeff.
Yes, words of wisdom, no.
So what are some of the growing pains that you've experienced? And if you could go back, Jeff, like what you know now, could you go back and tell yourself, hey, this is what it's going to be like? Do you still want to do it? Do you still want to do it?
I do still want to do it. So going back is an interesting question. So we give a little bit of background because I know a lot of you haven't been to the event. So who is familiar with TED or TEDx talks? Okay. Ignite TED and TEDx tend to be more of a top-down where they invite famous people or luminaries or professors or an expert to talk. Ignite is more grassroots. Ignite is regular people, anyone can submit, but I want to know what you're passionate about. No pitches, no networking talks, just something you honestly care about, something you did, something that really is important to you. You get 5 minutes, you prepare your slides, it's not like we're doing it to torment you or anything. And the auto advance every 15 seconds. The point is to keep you moving, to keep your talk going, to keep you engaged, and to force you as you're preparing your talk to get to the heart of what you really care about. So, whereas TED and the TED Talks are all run by that group, the Ignite Talks are a little bit more like a franchise. You can get a license to set one up for your group or in your town. So Ignite Phoenix is very different from Ignite Portland or Ignite New York or Ignite Paris or any of the others. I wanted to do this because I was interested in just sharing all of the amazing ideas and things that I saw going on in the Phoenix area. And they weren't really, in my humble opinion, being shared very well across all the different silos. If you were in the entrepreneur community, you knew a whole lot about that. You didn't know anything about the fashion community. If you were in the theater community, you could talk a ton about that, but you didn't know about the graphics art community or the graphic design. So I wanted something that just cut across all this, like Switzerland. Wherever your core area was, you could come and talk about it. So I signed up and got the license for Ignite for Phoenix. And the first one, I just basically blackmailed people. Like, if you come and give a talk, I'll shut up and stop bothering you about this. And it worked really well. By the time, it was this whole stressful, 60 days trying to get people to talk, which is scary. The first one had about 60 people there. And then getting people to come. And it was done, and as we're walking out, people were like, wow, that's great, when's the next one? I wanted to punch them in the face. I'm like, I did all this work and I just barely had one. So as it grew, where I really started, this is successful, this is a thing that people in meetings like. And then immediately everyone wanted to put their stamp on it. Jeff, your event would be a lot better if you made it about pitches. You can have business people come in, have them pitch, and then have like investors in the audience. That would be, Jeff, your event would be a lot better if it was all about technology. So much great technology. Jeff, your event would be so much better. So I've got this event that I've never run before. I'm not an event organizer. I am the master of picking up hobbies that I knew nothing about. I mean, my resume looks like I spun a wheel and just have all these random skills. So I didn't know really what I'm doing. And I've got a ton of people telling me how I should be doing it better. And it was really a struggle to stick to this original vision of something where it's just serendipity. Now, again, hindsight's a wonderful thing. One of the things most precious to me about Ignite is that people come because they might see a talk, wow, I'm really interested in that. But they leave soaked about something else they've never heard of before. Because we don't know what we don't know. An example of this, I have a friend who's a real estate agent. He came to the first Ignite and there was a talk about 10 secrets to run a successful coffee shop. And he thought this was amazing. And he's like, you know what, I can do that. I want to do that. He quit being a realtor and now runs a coffee shop. Have you ever been to Echo Coffee on 68th Street in Thomas? Yeah, Steve Bell started that because of a Phoenix talk that he went to. If it would have been, hey Steve, I've got some great business ideas. Do you want to change your career? Would you like to come to an evening of talks on that? He'd have said, yeah, thanks, I'm busy. I'm doing my nails that night. Right? But because there's no point to the event, it brings people for all different reasons, and they connect in unexpected and unplanned ways. So as I'm getting people telling me, wow, Jeff, you should plan this and it would be better. And you know what? I'll give you money. I'll sponsor you. Make that an entrepreneurship event and I can get you somebody who will pay for your event. So you won't have to work as hard lining up all these sponsors and raising all the money because we're a nonprofit. So it was really difficult. Again, in hindsight, I look back and say, wow, that worked out well. But at the moment, it was exceedingly difficult trying to find that balance between holding on to my vision, which I had no idea whether it was going to work or not, and all of these people with very clear convictions and often large checkbooks telling me that I was doing it wrong. And it worked out well, certainly not without stumbles along the way. But that, I think, over the course of the event was the single biggest struggle. But if I could go back, to your other point, and tell, I've been doing this 10 years now, this is something that's going to work out and you just have to stick to it. I almost think that would have betrayed it, like it created its own time travel paradox. Because it was because I didn't know that I worked that hard at it. I think if somebody would have told me, oh yeah, you're going to be fine, I wouldn't have had the conviction and the push. I wouldn't have become so pissy about it. As people are telling me this, it became a crusade. Like, damn it, I'm going to make this thing work. And I think if I'd have had, that assurance, real or not, I don't think I would have pushed it as hard, and it wouldn't have pushed me to make Ignite what it is in the same way. That's a longer version of that.
No, take the mic. Okay, so I have one more question real quick. I love asking when we get into New Year, what's your one word and why? And then we'll open it up if anyone has a question for the panel, and then we'll wrap it up. I have a couple more announcements, and then we are off to Phoenix.
After cake.
Air hockey. Cake, air hockey. Cake.
So my one word for this year is focus. I think that's something that just is interesting. I think what you were just saying, Jeff, it plays right into that. Like having that kind of diehard commitment to what it is and why you're doing it. And that's really been kind of my one word for this year is being focused on what it is we're trying to achieve and what goals are we trying to hit, but more importantly, like why are we doing it? Coming back to that, I think one of the really cool things this year that happened was we blew up our goals board that we normally have, my partners and I, and we said, let's not put a bunch of like action items on a big board. Let's instead have 3 big themes for the year, and then let's track those. Let's run everything that we do through those 3 themes. If they don't match one of those 3 themes, we throw it out. And then we're not finding ourselves like 6 months in, kind of re-engineering the entire plan. And instead, it's more about continuity of progress.
My one word for this year is measure. So for the last 10 years, I think we've been doing a lot of things organically and it's worked out. And there's a lot to say about putting out good intentions and organically growing a business, and we've done that. But now we're in a scaling phase, and I also have a daughter and a family and a lot going on, that it's important that for me to focus my energy towards things that are truly creating great impact. And measurement is a huge piece of that, measuring the engagement that we have within our community, the jobs created, is it worth it to pursue this opportunity over this opportunity? We get opportunities left and right for opening more COOTS locations, but what is the process for us to measure the right city? And same thing goes with every piece that follows after that, right? Like our team, the day-to-day operations, like just putting in really solid processes so we can measure and make really solid choices when it comes time to make choices.
My word is fear. Over the past couple of years, I realized that I let myself get a little complacent. I do a lot of odd and strange things, and I got comfortable with that. I didn't really push myself. And I've come to realize that if I'm not doing something that has me a little scared, not just nervous, but honestly scared, I don't know if this is going to work. I could really screw this up. I'm not enjoying myself, and the things that I'm doing aren't going to be rewarding to me. I got comfortable, and I plan on keeping myself a lot more scared in 2019. That's not an invitation, by the way. I'm looking to get mugged or something. I mean that in a good sense, just to be clear. But fear.
Okay, and then last thing, shameless plug. Projects you're working on. I know you've got Startup Week next week, so you're pretty busy.
Yeah, it's just that. Phoenix Startup Week, March 4th through the 9th. We'll be in Mesa on the 4th and 5th at Mesa Arts Center. We'll be in Phoenix at a cool new tech maker space called Scaled Sandbox on the Wednesday and Thursday of next week. And then we will be Friday, Saturday in Gilbert at Park University. If you haven't been to Phoenix Startup Week, this is our 5th year. It's Arizona's largest entrepreneurial event. We're expecting around 3,000 people to be there throughout the whole week, 150 different speakers, panelists, keynotes. There's some great happy hour events every single night of the week. It's a great opportunity to really see what this valley has to offer from an entrepreneurial standpoint.
I'm going to do a couple, but I'll do them really fast. So, So I started another company called Startup Kite. It is a rapid launch entrepreneur program. Basically, you come in one day, and for all of you who have been dragging your feet at starting something, if you have a side hustle, if you have the potential for trying something new, you come in for one day and you get set up with everything from incorporation to logo to branding to website to your marketing plan moving forward. Just because those, from what we've seen, has been the thing that always gets people scared and then they give up. So you have a handful of people helping you through that in a 6-hour period, and then you're out and running. So Startup Kite is launched, and we just got word today that we got a grant to fund, I think, 15 entrepreneurs based in Mesa for this program. So if you're interested and know anybody who's based in Mesa, you have to be based in Mesa, please email me. My card is on the table there, and I think the next one's running March, April, May, June. We run one for every month moving forward. The second plug I will give is we have our nonprofit arm, the Co-chair of PHX Foundation, which focuses on expanding entrepreneurship to underrepresented communities. So every week we run free educational programming that goes from the 101, like Facebook 101 to tax benefits this coming year, tax laws that have changed that you should really know about. Again, free to the general public. And then the last thing I will push is Startup Week. Is an awesome program that we have been a part of early on. There's a ton of people supporting it now, but it is definitely a huge resource for anybody who's interested at any stage in entrepreneurship. So I highly recommend those and Ignite. I think I've decided the topic of next week.
Oh, really? All right. Okay, so I'll pitch Ignite real quick. I forgot to put my little things on the table, but I'll go do that. Information on the event, if you want to come, if you want to submit. Again, this is open to everyone, but I want to know what you're really passionate about. Now, what you do, I mean, if that happens to align with your day job, good for you, but no pitches. Just genuine, passionate things that excite you the most. And for 5 years, we actually had local bands we give out a CD of local music to everybody, and that's all available for download if you want to check out some great local music. There's an incredible music scene in the Valley as well, if you weren't aware of that, phoenix.com. And if you're interested in other shenanigans, improvaz.com, that's the group that does the No Pants Ride. We did a Love and Compliments rally down in Phoenix a couple times. A few years ago, we did a live Where's Waldo right in front of Dave & Buster's, and a few hundred people all dressed as Waldo. And it's amazing to watch people. They're walking through on their phones and they look up, and then everybody is 10 years old again. And they're like, there he is! And they just go charging through the crowd. You know, stuff like that happens in San Francisco, happens in New York, and it's commonplace. It happens here, and it's a big deal, and it should be. There's so much fun. There's so many good people in this town. That's what we're all about, having fun with that. That's improvaz.com, and that's kind of it.
Okay, and a couple of quick announcements. Carol Comito is in the audience. So Carol is running the 8th annual Arizona Women's Conference, and that's at Rio Salado College coming up. I'm actually speaking there as well. It's April 13th. And you're doing a lot with Future Teen Leaders of America. So I was actually like, you two should connect. See how I'm like, you guys should all connect. So that's coming up. Let's see, Uplevel Your Brand. I just wanted to give a shout out. So Johnny over there, Johnny, and then Kyle Timmons. Kyle owns Office Evolution. We've done this event. Patty has been involved with this as well. If you're like, I need to get a video, I don't know what to say, I'm deathly afraid, like this is where we come together and we help you get that video off the ground, a personally branded video for your business. So that's coming up on March 30th. And then the next event, so as you know, the Social Connect is now quarterly. I know some of you are coming monthly. Kyle has been like my long-standing member. I'm going to give him a big prize. But this, because it's quarterly, it's a lot easier for me to manage a little bit. But then I get to have a bigger party, which I'm more excited about. So April 30th is the next one, and it's up on the rooftop. So we are not going to have a panel that month. I'm actually inviting all my panelists back. So Vincent has been a panelist. Adam has been a panelist. I'm trying to think who else has been a panelist. Well, yeah. But all the panelists back just so we can do a massive celebration. I think I already established that I'm really big into celebrating wins. And to me, that's a huge win when you do an event, scared to death to do it, and then you're like, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to see what happens. And this is kind of the result of that. And so celebrating our 1-year anniversary. I already booked DJ Cookie. You've got to come meet DJ Cookie. He's awesome. He does not throw cookies, but I did I did this event before. It was so I'm kind of like Jeff. I just go with it. I do events that are weird. So I did a pajama party on the rooftop for women, a couple years ago, and he was the only male in the room, and he was wearing a monkey costume. So we got pictures of it. I know, it's just hilarious. So anyway, meet DJ Cookie, meet the panelists. This is really just more of a big celebration to say, 1 year, we did it. So that's that. Okay, shout out to Dan. Dan over here, Dan, see him? Dan is with State of Living, and some of you have asked me about my shirt. I'm wearing a shirt that says, "Living My Best Life," and this is Dan's shirt. So we met for coffee, and I'm like, I would love to sport your shirt. I would love to wear it here, and then I'll give you a shout out. So this is Dan. If you were like, I love that shirt, go see Dan. He has quite a few other shirts and apparel. And then really, really quick, I love to do group shots. So if you are in for a group shot, there is a big win with a big exclamation point right out there where you go get your gifts, you cash in all your tickets. So I would love to do a big group shot with everybody in the room, and then I want to do an album cover photo with you guys. Have you guys seen the album cover photos that we do? They're stupid silly, but they're so much fun, and we look like rock stars. So that's it for tonight. Thank you so much for coming out. If you have any questions, come see me, meet the panel. We have some information over there at the table, and you guys have fun. Have fun tonight. Thanks so much for coming out.